Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon watching the stars through the main screen. The exploration ship had been traveling for 3 months now, searching for new worlds that humans could call home. Dr. Lisa Carter worked at her science station, checking energy readings from nearby systems while the rest of the crew went about their daily tasks. The Horizon was one of the newest ships in the human fleet, built with technology that could adapt to almost anything they might find in space. Chief Engineer Nicole Davis had worked for years designing systems that could learn and change when needed. Lieutenant Commander Ryan Torres handled all the weapons and defense systems, making sure they stayed ready for anything. Lisa suddenly looked up from her instruments with excitement in her eyes. She had found something unusual in a star system, about 2 light years away. The energy readings were unlike anything in their databases. Jake told her to set a course for the system so they could investigate what was causing these strange signals. The journey took them 6 hours using their fastest engines. When they arrived, Jake could not believe what he saw on the main screen. Hundreds of alien ships floated in perfect formation around the 3rd planet in the system. The ships looked like they were made of crystal and metal combined in ways that seemed impossible. Each ship was about the same size as the Horizon, but there were so many of them that they blocked out the light from the star. Jake immediately tried to contact the alien ships using every communication method they had. He sent radio signals, mathematical equations, and even simple pictures, hoping to start some kind of conversation. The aliens did not respond to any of their attempts. The crystal ships just stayed in their perfect geometric patterns without moving or acknowledging the human presence. Admiral Karen Phillips back on Earth received the report about first contact and told Jake to keep his distance. She wanted the crew to observe and gather information before making any decisions about how to proceed. This was the first time humans had met another intelligent species, and everyone wanted to be careful about how they handled the situation. Lisa worked frantically at her station trying to understand the alien technology. The crystal ships seemed to bend space around them in ways that human science said should be impossible. Their energy signatures showed power levels that were far beyond anything humans had ever built. Nicole studied the readings and realized that these aliens had technology that was thousands of years ahead of human development. The alien fleet began to move slowly, changing their formations into new geometric shapes. Ryan watched the tactical display and noticed that the movements looked like they might be some kind of communication or ritual. The ships moved with perfect precision, never making a mistake or breaking their patterns. Jake decided to move the Horizon closer, hoping that the aliens might respond to a peaceful approach. He ordered the ship to advance slowly, with all weapons powered down and shields at minimum strength. He wanted to show that humans came in peace and meant no harm to anyone. The alien ship stopped moving when the Horizon got within 1,000 kilometers. For a moment, everything was quiet and still. Jake thought that maybe the aliens were finally ready to communicate. Lisa kept scanning their ships, looking for any signs of what they might be thinking or planning. Then, without any warning, the alien fleet opened fire. Beams of energy that looked like twisted light shot out from hundreds of crystal ships. The weapons bent space itself, creating ripples that moved faster than anything Jake had ever seen. The attack was so sudden and overwhelming that Ryan barely had time to raise the shields before the energy hit them. The Horizon shook violently as the alien weapons struck their defenses. Sparks flew from control panels and the lights flickered as power systems struggled to handle the assault. Nicole ran diagnostics on all systems while Ryan tried to return fire with their own weapons. But something strange happened when the alien energy hit their shields. Instead of just blocking the attack, the human technology began to analyze what was happening. The quantum shielding system that Nicole had designed started to study the alien weapons, learning how they worked and what made them so powerful. Jake watched in amazement as their defensive systems not only held against the alien assault, but began to adapt to it. The energy readings on Lisa's screen showed that their shields were actually getting stronger as the attack continued. The alien weapons were feeding information directly into human technology, allowing it to evolve and improve in real time. Ryan reported that their own weapons were also changing, somehow becoming more effective as they learned from the alien attack patterns. The simple laser cannons and missile systems were transforming into something completely new and far more advanced than their original design. The crystal ships kept firing their perfect geometric formations, never changing as they poured energy into the human vessel. But Jake could see that something was wrong with their attack. The aliens seemed confused that their weapons were not having the expected effect on the small human ship. Lisa discovered that human technology had a unique ability that the aliens did not understand. While alien systems were built for perfection and efficiency, human technology was designed to be chaotic and unpredictable. This randomness was actually making their systems stronger and more adaptable than anything the aliens had ever encountered before. The alien assault continued for 10 more minutes, but the USS Horizon was no longer the same ship that had entered the system. Every system on board was evolving and adapting to the crystal ship's weapons in ways that amazed the entire crew. Nicole watched her engineering displays in wonder as human technology transformed itself into something she had never imagined possible. The quantum shielding system had learned to predict where the alien energy beams would strike before they even fired. Ryan discovered that their weapons were now able to target multiple enemy ships at once, using targeting methods that did not exist when they left Earth. The ship computer had rewritten its own programming dozens of times, creating new defensive strategies every few seconds. Jake ordered Ryan to return fire, but told him to start with minimal power. He wanted to see what their evolved weapons could do without destroying the entire alien fleet. The first shots from the Horizon were unlike anything in human military history. The energy beams twisted through space, following paths that seemed to bend around the alien shields and strike directly at their power sources. 3 crystal ships exploded immediately, while 5 others lost power and began drifting helplessly. The alien formation wavered for the first time since the battle began. Their perfect geometric patterns broke apart as ships tried to avoid the human weapons that seemed to predict their every movement. Lisa detected massive changes in the alien energy signatures. The crystal ships were trying to adapt their own weapons to counter the human response, but their technology was too rigid to change quickly. Human systems had evolved dozens of times during the battle, while the alien weapons remained exactly the same as when they first opened fire. The alien fleet began to spread out, abandoning their tight formations in favor of individual maneuvering. This was exactly what the human adaptive systems needed to become even more effective. Nicole realized that chaos and unpredictability were feeding their technology, making it stronger with every passing moment. Ryan launched a full counterattack, using weapons that had evolved far beyond their original specifications. Energy beams that could phase through matter struck alien ships from directions they could not defend against. Missiles that could change course in mid-flight found weak points in crystal hulls that the aliens thought were impenetrable. The battle turned completely in favor of the humans within minutes. Ships that should have been destroyed by the initial alien assault were now dominating a fleet hundreds of times larger. Jake could hardly believe what he was seeing on the tactical display as alien ships fell one after another to human weapons that kept getting more advanced. Admiral Phillips received constant updates from the Horizon crew, but she found the reports almost impossible to believe. Human technology was not supposed to be capable of the things that Jake was describing. She ordered additional ships to the battle zone, but realized they would arrive too late to affect the outcome. Nicole discovered that the adaptive evolution was not limited to weapons and shields. The ship engines had learned to move in ways that defied normal physics, allowing them to appear in multiple locations at once. The communication systems had evolved to jam alien signals, while the sensors could now see through any form of stealth technology. The alien fleet commander seemed to realize that continuing the fight would only make human technology more powerful. Crystal ships began to retreat toward the edge of the system, but their movement patterns showed they were not simply running away. Lisa detected massive energy buildups that indicated the aliens were preparing something far more dangerous than conventional weapons. Jake ordered the crew to pursue the retreating ships, but Ryan warned that the energy readings suggested the aliens might be preparing some kind of superweapon. The crystal ships were focusing all their remaining power into a single massive energy pulse that could destroy everything in the system, including themselves. The alien formation reformed at the edge of the star system with all surviving ships, pointing toward the human vessel. The energy buildup reached critical levels as hundreds of crystal ships prepared to fire simultaneously. Jake realized that even their evolved defenses might not be able to withstand such a concentrated attack. But Lisa made a discovery that changed everything. The alien energy buildup was not focused on destroying the horizon. Instead, they were preparing to tear open space itself using technology that could manipulate the fabric of reality. The aliens were not trying to win the battle, they were trying to escape to somewhere the humans could not follow. Nicole analyzed the energy patterns and realized that the aliens were preparing to jump to another dimension entirely. Their crystal ships could phase out of normal space-time, leaving the human vessel alone in the system. This was technology that was far beyond anything humans had ever imagined, let alone built. Ryan detected the dimensional distortion beginning to form around the alien fleet. Space itself started to ripple and bend as the crystal ships prepared to vanish from reality. The aliens had decided that retreat was better than continuing to fight an enemy that only grew stronger with each attack. Jake faced a critical decision. He could allow the aliens to escape and report back to Earth about humanity first contact with an advanced civilization. Or he could try to prevent their escape using technology that had evolved during the battle but might not be capable of following them across dimensions. The quantum shielding system that had adapted to alien weapons suddenly began analyzing the dimensional distortion. Human technology was attempting to understand and copy the alien escape method in real time. Nicole watched her instruments in amazement as their ship systems tried to learn the secrets of dimensional travel from enemy technology. Lisa detected that the adaptive evolution was accelerating beyond all previous limits. Human technology was not just learning from the alien weapons anymore, it was learning from their most advanced systems, including the dimensional manipulation that allowed travel between realities. The horizon was becoming something completely new and unprecedented. The alien fleet began to fade from normal space as their dimensional jump approached completion. But the human ship was learning faster than they could escape. Systems that had been simple exploration tools were evolving into technology that could follow the crystal ships wherever they tried to hide. The dimensional distortion around the alien fleet reached its peak as crystal ships began to phase between realities. Jake watched the main screen as hundreds of enemy vessels started to become transparent like ghosts, fading from the physical world. The aliens were using technology that could move them completely out of normal space and time. Lisa worked frantically at her science station, analyzing every detail of the alien escape method. The quantum sensors that had evolved during the battle were detecting energy patterns that human science said should not exist. The aliens were not just moving to another location, they were moving to another layer of reality entirely. Nicole discovered that the human adaptive systems were attempting something that seemed impossible. The ship technology was trying to learn dimensional manipulation in real time by watching the alien fleet disappear. Engineering displays showed rapid changes in their quantum field generators as they evolved to match the alien dimensional technology. Ryan reported that their weapons systems had locked onto the fading alien ships, but the targeting computers could not maintain contact as the crystal vessels moved between dimensions. Normal human weapons could only affect targets that existed in the same reality, which the aliens were rapidly leaving behind. The alien fleet commander seemed confident that escape was guaranteed. No known technology could follow ships that had moved to dimensional space where different physical laws applied. The crystal ships continued their phase transition, becoming more transparent with each passing second. But the USS Horizon was no longer bound by normal technological limitations. The adaptive evolution that had begun during the weapons exchange was accelerating beyond all previous boundaries. Human technology was learning to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself. Jake felt the ship shudder as their quantum field generators underwent rapid transformation. The engineering systems that Nicole had designed were rewriting themselves completely using principles that did not exist in any human textbook. The Horizon was becoming something that defied conventional understanding of what was possible. Lisa detected massive changes in their ship sensors as they evolved to perceive multiple dimensional layers simultaneously. The instruments that had been built to study stars and planets were learning to see across different realities. Human technology was adapting to follow the aliens no matter where they tried to hide. The dimensional jump reached critical phase as the alien fleet prepared for final transition. Crystal ships were now barely visible in normal space, existing mostly in the dimensional realm they were escaping to. The aliens believed they had successfully avoided destruction and gained valuable intelligence about human capabilities. Nicole watched in amazement as their quantum field generators achieved something that should have taken decades of research to develop. The human ship began to phase shift, following the same dimensional patterns as the alien fleet. The Horizon was learning to exist in multiple realities at once. Ryan discovered that their evolved weapons could now target enemies across dimensional barriers. The targeting systems had learned to track ships that existed in different layers of space-time. Human technology was proving that adaptability could overcome even the most advanced alien science. The alien fleet realized with growing alarm that the human ship was following them into dimensional space. This should have been impossible for any species that had not spent millennia developing dimensional manipulation technology. Yet the small human vessel was learning their most closely guarded secrets in minutes. Jake ordered the crew to maintain pursuit as the Horizon completed its own dimensional phase shift. The ship moved smoothly between realities following the alien fleet into a realm where space and time worked according to different rules. Human technology had evolved to function in environments it was never designed for. Lisa discovered that dimensional space contained layers upon layers of different realities, each with its own physical laws and energy patterns. The aliens were moving through these layers like ships sailing through different oceans, hoping to find one where humans could not follow. The crystal ships increased their dimensional velocity, trying to move deeper into realities that were further from normal space-time. Their commanders knew that some dimensional layers were so alien that most technology would cease to function. They hoped to reach a realm where human adaptive systems would finally fail. Nicole reported that their ship systems were evolving faster than ever before as they encountered new dimensional environments. Each layer of reality provided new challenges that forced human technology to adapt in unprecedented ways. The engineering systems were rewriting themselves constantly to function under different physical laws. The alien fleet split into smaller groups, moving in different directions through dimensional space. Their strategy was to force the humans to choose which group to follow while the others escaped to warn their civilization about this new threat. The crystal ships moved toward dimensional layers that became increasingly hostile to normal matter. Ryan maintained weapon locks on multiple alien groups simultaneously as their targeting systems learned to function across multiple realities at once. The evolved human weapons could strike targets that existed in different dimensional layers without losing effectiveness. Jake realized that the aliens were testing human adaptive capabilities by moving to dimensional realms with increasingly dangerous properties. Some layers contained energy fields that could destroy normal matter, while others had gravitational effects that could crush ships instantly. The USS Horizon followed the largest alien group into a dimensional layer where time moved backward and space folded in on itself. Human technology adapted to these conditions within seconds, creating new field generators that could protect the crew from temporal paradoxes and spatial distortions. Lisa detected that the aliens were becoming desperate as they realized that no dimensional layer could stop human pursuit. The crystal ships were using emergency dimensional jumps that could damage their own vessels rather than allow humans to continue following them. Nicole discovered that the adaptive evolution was now affecting the crew themselves. The dimensional travel was changing human neural patterns, allowing them to perceive and understand realities that should have driven them insane. Human consciousness was adapting to function in environments beyond normal comprehension. The alien fleet made one final desperate jump to a dimensional layer where reality itself was unstable and constantly changing. This was a realm where most technology would be destroyed instantly and most consciousness would be overwhelmed by chaotic energy, patterns that defied all logic and understanding. The dimensional layer where the alien fleet had jumped was unlike anything Jake and his crew had ever imagined. Reality itself shifted and changed every few seconds with physical laws that contradicted each other from moment to moment. Space could be solid one instant and pure energy the next, while time flowed in multiple directions simultaneously. Lisa watched her instruments go completely insane as they tried to measure conditions that had no stable properties. Her science station showed readings that changed faster than the displays could update. The quantum sensors that had evolved during their pursuit were struggling to adapt to a realm where nothing remained constant long enough to be properly analyzed. The alien crystal ships were suffering massive damage from the chaotic dimensional environment. Several vessels were torn apart by spatial distortions, while others aged millions of years in seconds before reverting to their original state. The aliens had jumped to this reality hoping it would destroy the pursuing humans, but they were destroying themselves in the process. Nicole worked desperately to keep their ship systems functioning as reality shifted around them. The adaptive technology was evolving at incredible speed, trying to create stable fields that could protect the horizon from environmental changes that defied all logic. Engineering displays showed systems rewriting themselves hundreds of times. Per second, Ryan discovered that their weapons had become completely useless in this chaotic dimension. The targeting computers could not lock onto enemies that phased between existing and not existing while following flight paths that led into the past. Every shot fired seemed to hit targets that had never been there or would not exist until tomorrow. The USS Horizon began to suffer structural damage as dimensional chaos affected their hull integrity. Jake felt the deck plates shift beneath his feet as sections of the ship existed in different time streams. Parts of the vessel were aging rapidly, while other sections were reverting to their original construction materials. But human technology was adapting to conditions that should have been impossible to survive. The quantum field generators that Nicole had designed were learning to create pockets of stable reality within the chaos. Slowly, the ship began to establish zones where normal physics could function despite the dimensional instability around them. Lisa made a remarkable discovery as her evolved sensors penetrated deeper into the chaotic dimension. The instability was not random but followed patterns that repeated in cycles lasting only microseconds. Human technology was learning to predict these patterns and adapt to them faster than the changes could occur. The alien fleet was trapped in the same chaotic environment they had hoped would destroy their pursuers. Crystal ships that had survived millions of years were being reduced to basic particles before reforming as completely different vessels. Their perfect geometric formations were impossible to maintain when the very concept of geometry kept changing. Nicole realized that human consciousness was adapting to the dimensional chaos in ways that alien minds could not. Where the crystal ships were being destroyed by paradoxes and contradictions, the human crew was learning to think in multiple timelines simultaneously. Their brains were evolving to process information that existed in several different states at once. Jake discovered that he could perceive events that were happening in the past and future while remaining focused on the present moment. The dimensional environment was changing human neural patterns, allowing them to understand causality that flowed in all directions. This adaptation was spreading to every member of the crew. Ryan found that his tactical systems could now target alien ships across multiple possible timelines. The evolved weapons could fire at enemies that might exist in various probability states, hitting them regardless of which timeline actually occurred. Human technology was learning to function with uncertainty as a fundamental principle. The alien fleet attempted to jump to yet another dimensional layer, but found that the chaos had damaged their dimensional manipulation systems. Several crystal ships were stuck between realities existing partially in multiple dimensions at once. Their perfect technology was being overwhelmed by environmental conditions they had not prepared for. Lisa detected that the dimensional chaos was actually feeding power to human adaptive systems. The constant changes were providing unlimited data for their technology to learn from, making it evolve faster than ever before. Each paradox and contradiction was teaching human systems new ways to function under impossible conditions. The USS Horizon began to stabilize as their adaptive fields learned to surf the waves of dimensional change rather than fight against them. Nicole watched in amazement as human technology learned to use chaos itself as a source of power and stability. The ship was becoming something that thrived in environments where normal matter could not exist. Jake realized that the aliens had made a critical error by leading humans into the chaotic dimension. Instead of destroying their pursuers, they had given human technology the ultimate learning environment. The constant changes were forcing adaptive evolution at rates that would have taken centuries under normal conditions. The crystal ships were beginning to break apart as their rigid technology could not cope with reality that refused to follow consistent rules. Alien systems designed for perfection and predictability were failing when confronted with pure chaos. Their vessels were being reduced to their component atoms before reforming as random collections of matter. Ryan launched a final attack using weapons that had learned to exist in multiple probability states simultaneously. The shot struck alien ships across several timelines at once, ensuring hits regardless of which version of reality actually occurred. Crystal vessels that had seemed impossible to destroy were being eliminated by pure adaptive ingenuity. Nicole discovered that the dimensional chaos was teaching human technology the deepest secrets of reality manipulation. Their systems were learning to control the fundamental forces that shaped space and time itself. The Horizon was becoming a vessel that could reshape reality according to human will. Lisa detected massive dimensional distortions as the remaining alien ships attempted one final desperate escape. They were trying to collapse the entire chaotic dimension to prevent humans from learning its secrets. The crystal ships were preparing to sacrifice themselves to deny their pursuers the knowledge they had gained. The alien fleet began to implode as they redirected all remaining power into a dimensional collapse that would destroy everything in the chaotic realm, including themselves. They preferred extinction to allowing humans to master the technology they had spent eons developing. The crystal ships were choosing mutual destruction over defeat. The dimensional pathway to the alien homeworld led through realities that contained the ruins of dozens of civilizations. Jake and his crew saw the remains of species that had been conquered by the crystal ship aliens over thousands of years. Each destroyed civilization had been attacked without warning, just as the aliens had tried to do to humanity. Lisa studied the energy signatures left behind by the ancient battles and discovered that every conquered species had possessed advanced technology. The crystal ship aliens were not random raiders, but systematic conquerors who eliminated any civilization that might eventually challenge their dominance. They destroyed potential threats before they could fully develop. The USS Horizon passed through a dimension where an entire star system had been converted into a monument to alien victory. Billions of crystalline structures floated in perfect geometric formations around a dead star. Nicole realized that each crystal contained the preserved remains of a different species that had been defeated by the alien fleet. Ryan studied the tactical data from the ancient battlefields and found that every conquered civilization had fought using static defensive strategies. None of them had possessed technology that could adapt and evolve during combat. The aliens had perfected the art of defeating enemies whose capabilities remained constant throughout a battle. Jake understood that humanity had been targeted for destruction precisely because their adaptive technology represented something new and dangerous. The alien civilization had spent millennia ensuring that no species could develop weapons and defenses that improved during combat. They eliminated threats before they could become truly dangerous. The dimensional pathway showed them more conquered worlds where entire populations had been reduced to energy patterns stored in crystal matrices. The aliens did not simply destroy their enemies but preserved them as trophies of their technological superiority. Each victory was carefully documented and displayed as proof of crystal ship dominance. Nicole discovered that the alien homeworld existed in a dimension where space and time were artificially controlled to create perfect stability. The crystal ship civilization had eliminated all chaos and unpredictability from their reality, creating an environment where change was impossible. They lived in a static universe that never evolved or adapted. Lisa detected massive energy fields surrounding the alien homeworld that prevented any form of technological evolution. The fields suppressed mutation, adaptation, and change, ensuring that everything remained exactly as it had been for millions of years. The alien civilization had achieved immortality by eliminating the possibility of growth or improvement. The USS Horizon emerged from the dimensional pathway into the alien home reality and immediately faced defensive systems that had never been tested in actual combat. The crystal ship civilization had not been attacked in their home dimension for over 1,000,000 years. Their defenses were designed to repel enemies using known principles of warfare. Jake ordered a full scan of the alien homeworld and discovered a planet covered in crystalline cities that extended deep into the planet core. Billions of crystal ship aliens lived in perfect geometric harmony, never changing or growing but simply existing in static perfection. Their entire civilization was a monument to the elimination of chaos. The alien planetary defenses activated immediately as they detected the human presence. Massive energy cannons emerged from the planet's surface while defensive satellites moved into perfect formations. The response was instantaneous and overwhelming, but followed predictable patterns that human adaptive systems could analyze and counter. Ryan prepared their evolved weapons for battle against an enemy that had never faced adaptive technology. The alien defenses were more powerful than anything they had encountered before, but they operated according to fixed programming that could not change or improve during combat. Nicole watched human technology begin its familiar adaptation process as alien energy beams struck their shields. The quantum field generators that had learned to function in dimensional chaos easily adapted to weapons that followed mathematical principles. The alien attacks were sophisticated but predictable, making them easy targets for evolving human defenses. The crystal ship aliens were shocked to discover that their homeworld defenses were ineffective against the small human vessel. Energy weapons that could destroy entire fleets were being absorbed and analyzed by technology that grew stronger with each attack. Their perfect defensive systems were becoming sources of information for human adaptive evolution. Lisa detected panic spreading through the alien communication networks as their civilization realized that they faced an enemy unlike anything in their experience. The crystal ship aliens had built their entire culture around the concept of static perfection, but they were being defeated by technology that thrived on change and chaos. Jake ordered a limited counterattack to demonstrate human capabilities without completely destroying the alien homeworld. Their evolved weapons fired precise shots that disabled defensive installations without killing the alien inhabitants. The attack showed that humans could have destroyed everything but chose restraint instead. The alien government attempted to negotiate for the first time in their recorded history. Crystal ship leaders who had never spoken to an inferior species were forced to acknowledge that humanity possessed superior adaptive technology. They offered to share their knowledge of dimensional manipulation in exchange for their civilization, survival. Nicole discovered that the alien offer was genuine but limited by their static nature. The crystal ship aliens could teach humans how to build dimensional manipulation technology, but they could not understand the adaptive principles that made human systems superior. Their knowledge was vast, but completely inflexible. Ryan detected that other alien civilizations throughout the galaxy were monitoring the battle through dimensional sensors. Species that had been conquered centuries ago were watching to see if anyone could finally defeat the Crystal Ship Empire. The outcome of this confrontation would determine the balance of power across multiple realities. Lisa realized that the alien homeworld contained technology that could benefit all the conquered civilizations if it were shared freely. The Crystal Ship aliens had hoarded dimensional knowledge for millions of years, using it only to maintain their dominance over other species. Human victory could liberate countless worlds from static oppression. Jake faced a critical decision about how to handle the first alien civilization that humanity had encountered. He could destroy them completely as revenge for their unprovoked attack, or he could try to reform their static culture by introducing the concepts of adaptation and growth that made human technology superior. The Crystal Ship aliens waited for human judgment, knowing that their fate depended on the mercy of a species they had tried to destroy. For the first time in their existence, they faced uncertainty about the future and discovered that change might not be something to fear, but something that could lead to improvement and growth. Jake stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon, looking at the alien homeworld that lay defenseless before them. The crystal ship civilization that had ruled the galaxy for millions of years was now completely at human mercy. Their perfect defenses had been neutralized by adaptive technology that learned and evolved faster than static systems could respond. The alien leadership sent continuous communication attempts, begging for negotiations and offering to surrender their entire dimensional technology database. Crystal ship emperors who had never shown mercy to conquered species were now experiencing fear for the first time in their existence. They understood that humans could eliminate their civilization as easily as they had eliminated others. Lisa monitored alien communication networks and discovered that the crystal ship surrender was spreading panic throughout their empire. Slave species that had been oppressed for centuries were beginning to rebel as news of human victory traveled through dimensional pathways. The static perfection that had maintained alien dominance was crumbling. Nicole studied the alien technology, databases that were being transmitted as peace offerings, and found knowledge that could advance human science by thousands of years. The crystal ship aliens had mastered dimensional manipulation, gravity control, and energy systems that operated on principles human scientists had never imagined. Their static nature had preserved vast amounts of advanced knowledge. Ryan detected that military forces from dozens of conquered civilizations were mobilizing throughout the galaxy. Species that had been enslaved for generations were preparing to reclaim their freedom now that the Crystal Ship Empire had been proven vulnerable. The human victory was triggering the largest galactic uprising in recorded history. Jake realized that simply accepting alien surrender would not solve the fundamental problems in the galaxy. The Crystal Ship civilization had created a system where advanced species oppressed primitive ones using superior technology. Breaking their military power was only the first step toward creating a more balanced galactic community. The alien emperors offered to withdraw from all conquered worlds and return to their homeworld dimension if humans would guarantee their survival. They proposed to share all their technology freely and abandon their policy of preemptive strikes against developing civilizations. The Crystal Ship aliens were willing to give up their empire to avoid extinction. Nicole discovered that many of the conquered species possessed adaptive capabilities similar to humans but had never been allowed to develop them. The Crystal Ship aliens had specifically targeted civilizations that showed signs of technological evolution, preventing them from reaching their full potential. Countless species had been held back by static oppression. Lisa detected dimensional distortions as liberated civilizations began testing technology they had been forbidden to use for centuries. Some species were attempting to restart evolutionary development programs, while others were rebuilding adaptive systems that had been destroyed during conquest. The galaxy was experiencing a renaissance of technological innovation. The USS Horizon received communications from dozens of alien species, thanking humanity for breaking the crystal ship dominance. Many civilizations offered alliance and technology, sharing agreements while others simply requested protection while they rebuilt their societies. Humans had suddenly become the most influential species in known space. Jake understood that humanity now faced responsibilities they had never prepared for. The Crystal Ship Empire had maintained galactic order through oppression, but their defeat had created a power vacuum that could lead to chaos. Humans needed to help establish a new system based on cooperation rather than domination. Admiral Phillips back on Earth received constant updates about the rapidly changing galactic situation. She authorized Jake to act as humanity's first diplomatic representative while emergency fleets were prepared to support human interests. Earth government was scrambling to develop policies for managing relationships with dozens of alien civilizations. The Crystal Ship aliens transmitted detailed maps of dimensional pathways that connected thousands of inhabited worlds. Nicole realized that humans now had access to a galactic transportation network that could allow instant travel to any civilization in known space. The possibilities for exploration and trade were limitless. Ryan studied the military capabilities of newly liberated civilizations and found that many possessed weapons technology that could be adapted for human use. Some species had developed energy systems that were more efficient than human designs, while others had created defensive technologies that could enhance adaptive capabilities. Lisa discovered that several alien civilizations had been working on adaptive technology similar to human systems, but had been forced to abandon research when the crystal ships conquered them. These species could potentially become allies in developing even more advanced evolutionary systems that combined the best features of multiple technological approaches. The Crystal Ship Emperors made a final desperate offer to teach humans how to create static perfection fields that would eliminate all uncertainty and chaos from human civilization. They genuinely believed they were offering humanity the ultimate gift by showing them how to achieve eternal, unchanging stability. Jake rejected the alien offer immediately, understanding that static perfection would destroy everything that made humanity special. The ability to adapt, change, and grow was the source of human strength, not a weakness to be eliminated. He explained to the Crystal Ship aliens that chaos and uncertainty were essential for true advancement. Nicole detected that some human systems were actually beginning to influence alien technology through dimensional field interactions. The adaptive principles that governed human technology were slowly spreading to crystal ship systems, causing them to evolve for the first time in millions of years. The aliens were experiencing involuntary technological evolution. The alien civilization began to change as their technology adapted to human influence. Crystal structures that had remained static for eons started to shift and grow, while alien thought patterns began to incorporate concepts of uncertainty and improvement. The Crystal Ship aliens were learning that change could lead to enhancement, rather than degradation. Lisa realized that the interaction between human adaptive technology and alien static systems was creating entirely new forms of technology that neither species could have developed alone. The combination of human chaos and alien order was producing innovations that surpassed anything either civilization had achieved independently. Jake faced the challenge of helping establish a new galactic civilization that balanced the need for stability with the importance of growth and adaptation. The Crystal Ship Empire had proven that pure order led to stagnation, while pure chaos could lead to destruction. Humanity needed to find a middle path that encouraged beneficial change while maintaining peaceful cooperation. 6 months after the confrontation at the crystal ship homeworld, the galaxy had transformed beyond recognition. Jake stood in the council chambers of New Geneva Station, a massive space facility that had been built using combined human and alien technology. Representatives from over 200 different civilizations gathered to establish the first truly cooperative galactic government in recorded history. The crystal ship aliens had undergone the most dramatic changes of any species involved in the galactic transformation. Their static technology had learned to evolve and adapt under human influence, while their rigid social structure had developed flexibility and creativity. The former emperors now served as advisors, helping other species understand the dangers of technological stagnation. Lisa worked with alien scientists from dozens of different civilizations to develop new adaptive technologies that combined the best features of multiple approaches. Human chaos theory was merged with alien precision engineering to create systems that could evolve toward specific goals while maintaining stability. The research projects were advancing faster than anyone had thought possible. Nicole had been promoted to Chief Technology Officer for the entire Galactic Cooperation Project. She supervised engineering teams that included members from species, with completely different approaches to technology development. The collaborative efforts were producing innovations that no single civilization could have achieved working alone. Ryan commanded a mixed fleet of human and alien vessels that patrolled the galaxy, ensuring that liberated civilizations could develop freely without interference. The patrol ships used adaptive technology that could counter any known weapon system, while their crews included members from species that had been enemies only months before. The dimensional transportation network that had been monopolized by the Crystal Ship Empire was now open to all civilizations. Thousands of worlds that had been isolated for centuries were reconnecting with the galactic community. Trade exploration and cultural exchange were flourishing as species shared knowledge and resources freely. Admiral Phillips had been appointed as humanity's first galactic ambassador, working to establish treaties and agreements that would prevent future conflicts. She coordinated with alien diplomats to create laws that protected developing civilizations while encouraging technological advancement. The new Galactic Charter emphasized cooperation over competition. Jake received reports from exploration teams that had discovered hundreds of previously unknown civilizations in distant dimensional layers. Many of these species had been hiding from the Crystal Ship Empire for generations, developing their own adaptive technologies in secret. The galaxy was far more diverse and advanced than anyone had realized. The former Crystal Ship slave worlds were experiencing rapid technological renaissance as their populations rediscovered suppressed knowledge and creativity. Species that had been forced into static roles for centuries were developing new technologies at incredible speeds. Some civilizations advanced by thousands of years in just a few months. Nicole studied the hybrid technologies that were emerging from collaboration between different species and found that each combination produced unique advantages. Human adaptive systems worked best when combined with alien precision, while alien energy manipulation was enhanced by human creativity. The possibilities seemed endless. Lisa discovered that the galactic cooperation was triggering evolutionary changes that went beyond technology. Species that had never interacted before were developing new forms of consciousness that could process information from multiple perspectives simultaneously. The galaxy was experiencing mental evolution as well as technological advancement. The USS Horizon had been converted into a mobile research platform that traveled throughout the galaxy, studying the effects of adaptive technology on different civilizations. The ship that had started as a simple exploration vessel had become the symbol of humanity's contribution to galactic progress. Ryan established training programs where military officers from different species learned to use adaptive combat systems. The programs emphasized defense and protection rather than conquest, ensuring that advanced technology would be used to preserve peace rather than wage war. Former enemies were becoming allies through shared training. Jake worked with philosophers and scientists from hundreds of different worlds to develop ethical guidelines for technological development. The galactic community needed principles that would prevent any single species from dominating others while encouraging innovation and growth. The discussions were complex, but productive. The crystal ship aliens made a formal apology to every civilization they had conquered over the millennia. Their emperors traveled throughout the galaxy offering reparations and assistance to species they had oppressed. Many former victims forgave their oppressors when they saw genuine efforts to make amends and contribute to galactic welfare. Nicole received authorization to begin the next phase of adaptive technology development, which involved creating systems that could evolve across multiple dimensions simultaneously. The research required cooperation from species with expertise in dimensional manipulation, energy control, consciousness studies, and chaos theory. No single civilization could have attempted such ambitious projects. Lisa detected signs that adaptive technology was beginning to influence the fundamental structure of reality itself. The widespread use of evolutionary systems was creating subtle changes in dimensional stability and energy flow patterns. The galaxy was slowly becoming more supportive of growth and adaptation at the most basic physical levels. Admiral Phillips announced that Earth had been selected as the headquarters for the new Galactic Cooperation Council. The planet that had produced the first truly adaptive technology would serve as the center for an organization dedicated to promoting beneficial change throughout known space. Humanity had found their role as facilitators of progress. Jake reflected on how much had changed since the day when an alien fleet had fired first at a small human exploration ship. That unprovoked attack had triggered a chain of events that transformed the entire galaxy from a collection of isolated civilizations into a cooperative community dedicated to mutual advancement and protection. The crystal ship aliens had believed that static perfection was the ultimate achievement, but they had learned that true perfection came from the ability to grow, adapt, and improve continuously. Their attack on humanity had taught them that change was not something to fear, but something to embrace as the source of all progress. Nicole watched the latest reports from exploration teams and saw that adaptive technology was spreading to previously unreachable dimensions. The principles that made human systems superior were being adopted by civilizations that existed in realities with completely different physical laws. The revolution was expanding beyond the known galaxy. The story of how humanity had defeated a galactic empire through pure adaptability became legend throughout known space. Species that developed new technologies would ask themselves whether their innovations could evolve and improve over time. The human example had changed how everyone thought about technological development. Jake knew that this was only the beginning of what adaptive technology could achieve when applied on a galactic scale. The cooperation between hundreds of different civilizations was creating possibilities that no single species had ever imagined. The galaxy had learned that strength came not from domination, but from the ability to change, grow, and work together toward a better future. 6 months after the confrontation at the crystal ship homeworld, the galaxy had transformed beyond recognition. Jake stood in the council chambers of New Geneva Station, a massive space facility that had been built using combined human and alien technology. Representatives from over 200 different civilizations gathered to establish the first truly cooperative galactic government in recorded history. The crystal ship aliens had undergone the most dramatic changes of any species involved in the galactic transformation. Their static technology had learned to evolve and adapt under human influence, while their rigid social structure had developed flexibility and creativity. The former emperors now served as advisors, helping other species understand the dangers of technological stagnation. Lisa worked with alien scientists from dozens of different civilizations to develop new adaptive technologies that combined the best features of multiple approaches. Human chaos theory was merged with alien precision engineering to create systems that could evolve towards specific goals while maintaining stability. The research projects were advancing faster than anyone had thought possible. Nicole had been promoted to Chief Technology Officer for the entire Galactic Cooperation Project. She supervised engineering teams that included members from species, with completely different approaches to technology development. The collaborative efforts were producing innovations that no single civilization could have achieved working alone. Ryan commanded a mixed fleet of human and alien vessels that patrolled the galaxy, ensuring that liberated civilizations could develop freely without interference. The patrol ships used adaptive technology that could counter any known weapon system, while their crews included members from species that had been enemies only months before. The dimensional transportation network that had been monopolized by the Crystal Ship Empire was now open to all civilizations. Thousands of worlds that had been isolated for centuries were reconnecting with the galactic community. Trade exploration and cultural exchange were flourishing as species shared knowledge and resources freely. Admiral Phillips had been appointed as Humanity First Galactic Ambassador, working to establish treaties and agreements that would prevent future conflicts. She coordinated with alien diplomats to create laws that protected developing civilizations while encouraging technological advancement. The new Galactic Charter emphasized cooperation over competition. Jake received reports from exploration teams that had discovered hundreds of previously unknown civilizations in distant dimensional layers. Many of these species had been hiding from the Crystal Ship Empire for generations, developing their own adaptive technologies in secret. The galaxy was far more diverse and advanced than anyone had realized. The former Crystal Ship slave worlds were experiencing rapid technological renaissance as their populations rediscovered suppressed knowledge and creativity. Species that had been forced into static roles for centuries were developing new technologies at incredible speeds. Some civilizations advanced by thousands of years in just a few months. Nicole studied the hybrid technologies that were emerging from collaboration between different species and found that each combination produced unique advantages. Human adaptive systems worked best when combined with alien precision, while alien energy manipulation was enhanced by human creativity. The possibilities seemed endless. Lisa discovered that the galactic cooperation was triggering evolutionary changes that went beyond technology. Species that had never interacted before were developing new forms of consciousness that could process information from multiple perspectives simultaneously. The galaxy was experiencing mental evolution as well as technological advancement. The USS Horizon had been converted into a mobile research platform that traveled throughout the galaxy, studying the effects of adaptive technology on different civilizations. The ship that had started as a simple exploration vessel had become the symbol of humanity contribution to galactic progress. Ryan established training programs where military officers from different species learned to use adaptive combat systems. The programs emphasized defense and protection rather than conquest, ensuring that advanced technology would be used to preserve peace rather than wage war. Former enemies were becoming allies through shared training. Jake worked with philosophers and scientists from hundreds of different worlds to develop ethical guidelines for technological development. The galactic community needed principles that would prevent any single species from dominating others while encouraging innovation and growth. The discussions were complex but productive. The Crystal Ship aliens made a formal apology to every civilization they had conquered over the millennia. Their emperors traveled throughout the galaxy, offering reparations and assistance to species they had oppressed. Many former victims forgave their oppressors when they saw genuine efforts to make amends and contribute to galactic welfare. Nicole received authorization to begin the next phase of adaptive technology development, which involved creating systems that could evolve across multiple dimensions simultaneously. The research required cooperation from species with expertise in dimensional manipulation, energy control, consciousness studies, and chaos theory. No single civilization could have attempted such ambitious projects. Lisa detected signs that adaptive technology was beginning to influence the fundamental structure of reality itself. The widespread use of evolutionary systems was creating subtle changes in dimensional stability and energy flow patterns. The galaxy was slowly becoming more supportive of growth and adaptation at the most basic physical levels. Admiral Phillips announced that Earth had been selected as the headquarters for the new Galactic Cooperation Council. The planet that had produced the first truly adaptive technology would serve as the center for an organization dedicated to promoting beneficial change throughout known space. Humanity had found their role as facilitators of progress. Jake reflected on how much had changed since the day when an alien fleet had fired first at a small human exploration ship. That unprovoked attack had triggered a chain of events that transformed the entire galaxy from a collection of isolated civilizations into a cooperative community dedicated to mutual advancement and protection. The crystal ship aliens had believed that static perfection was the ultimate achievement, but they had learned that true perfection came from the ability to grow, adapt, and improve continuously. Their attack on humanity had taught them that change was not something to fear, but something to embrace as the source of all progress. Nicole watched the latest reports from exploration teams and saw that adaptive technology was spreading to previously unreachable dimensions. The principles that made human systems superior were being adopted by civilizations that existed in realities with completely different physical laws. The revolution was expanding beyond the known galaxy. The story of how humanity had defeated a galactic empire through pure adaptability became legend throughout known space. Species that developed new technologies would ask themselves whether their innovations could evolve and improve over time. The human example had changed how everyone thought about technological development. Jake knew that this was only the beginning of what adaptive technology could achieve when applied on a galactic scale. The cooperation between hundreds of different civilizations was creating possibilities that no single species had ever imagined. The galaxy had learned that strength came not from domination, but from the ability to change, grow, and work together toward a better future.